up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Listen, Facebook was about to cancel me. Cancel culture is not just on social media. It is also from social media platforms. If you do not show up on time for StreamYard, you will be canceled. Do me a favor, okay? Tag a friend. You can even tag somebody that's not your friend. You don't have to be friends to tag somebody. You can still just tag them. I can see over here these comments, okay? So excited on you. I can see, I don't know how you're watching and it says 0. I don't like that number says 0, but people over here commenting, but I'm gonna let that go. Y'all know me, it's your girl Courage Molina, faith coach, pastor, and everybody's favorite Bible teacher. The work that I do is always about helping you to become bolder, more confident, and courageous. That like, no matter what it is, no matter where you at the end of the day, that is how I want to impact you, okay? If you are watching it from Facebook, then I need you to make sure that you give StreamYard permission so I can see who you are. It says, hello, Facebook user. I want to have more excitement for you. I'm sure if I knew who you were, I would be excited that you're here. But right now it just feels like stranger danger. So if you could let your identity be known. Hey, Sandra. Hey, Talia. What's up? What's up? What's up? So listen, I know you guys know me, and I think sometimes we can get into coaching programs or training or watch a YouTube video or whatever. And it's like, okay, it's just about the modules. Okay, it's just about the workshop. Okay, it's just about this thing. But I think that when you go into it with the intention to be changed, then you are, and you are equipped to do big things because you have been created to do big things. Right? We are not playing small over here. Sometimes we need help and we need support. And I think sometimes the question is, how bad do I want to be who God has called me to be? How bad do I want to shake up the world? How bad do I want to live the life that I've been called to live? Like, how bad do I want it? I think sometimes we don't do things because we are not desperate enough. I need for somebody. I hope that today, I'm so excited. I'm not going to scream because I got the dogs and the dogs will start barking. If I start screaming, they're like, oh, it's a party. So I got to keep my voice level. But I am so excited. I have some amazing women that are just really going to share their experience. They're going to share where they are. They're going to share their wins. They're going to share, like, I'm curious to hear what they're going to share. Actually, I mean, I know I have the questions, but I don't actually know what they're going to say. I have tissue here. I don't think I'm going to cry. I think I'm a gangster, and gangsters don't cry. Okay, that's how I feel. But I already feel so emotional because when I look at their faces, I know it probably seems like it's because of, because they're here on like this shine or whatever, but it is like every single face, I am going to cry. I am. I mean, y'all know I'm not going to apologize for that though, right? It is like when you understand what it feels like to say yes to a call and then to have actual physical proof that God has chosen you to play even a small part in the lives of women who mean the world to him, that is not a small thing. And so it's just a lot. I did not think it was going to be a lot, but it's just a lot. So I'm going to bring them up. And I'm going to, not going to do like a whole bunch of introduction. They can say who they are and share what they want to share. But sheesh. So, listen, I'm trying to keep these glasses on because I'm cute, but now I'm crying and they sliding off my face. I feel like I need a reset. First up is, they're just in the order that I can see them on the screen. They're not in order of importance. They are all equally important. This is just how I can see them on the screen. First up is, the amazing Aretha. Amazing Aretha is like, first of all, she is a person who just is serious about her call, right? Like whatever it takes. She has a faith that she walks out. she's not just going to say she feels a way. She's going to be like, I believe that God has called me to do it. So it's scary, but I'm going to do it. You know, she is the 3 comma girl. Like she has got me saying 3 commas about myself. You know what I'm saying? Aretha is the 3 comma girl from the beautiful island of St. Lucia. Aretha is probably the first client I ever had that made me global. Now, I don't know what technically you have to have. Like, I don't know if you have to have so many continents or whatever. But as soon as I got Aretha and she was on my roster, I was like, yes, I'm an international coach, guys. Have clients from all over the world. I got one client that don't live in the country, one client from another country, and now I'm big time. I'm big time global. You know what I'm saying? I have a global coaching business. And so I absolutely love Aretha. Aretha, thank you so much for saying yes.
You're most welcome. Good evening, everyone who's on YouTube, on Facebook, on IG. Welcome to Courage's panel discussion on her Living Mastermind. I'm excited to be here. I am thankful for the opportunity. Courage has changed my life. For the persons who are watching and knew me in 2019 and know me now in 2021, they can say it's been an amazing transformation. So I'm excited to be here. I am a life strategist, and the strategies that I learned, the tools, the resources that I gained through Courage's program is what has empowered me to be the woman I have become and to be able to serve the world in the capacity that I am doing, which is all in line with what God called me to do on this earth. So I am excited to be here, and I hope that you will stay tuned till the end.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna pull her out so I can bring my next one in. Listen, I loved her. I don't know if she knows this. She probably does know this. I loved her right from the beginning. Right from the start. I'm like, oh my gosh, I love her. Oh my gosh, she's so cute. She just didn't have a good mirror at her house. Like she didn't have a mirror where that really reflected how good looking she was and how amazing. She's like one of the sweetest, hardworking women I've ever had the pleasure of coaching. She reminds me she just reminds me so much that anything that you want to do, if you decide to do it, you can do it in the face of adversity, in the face of whatever. Like there are so many things that stand up to keep us from doing it. And she has not lived a life that's like so immune of all of that. But she like, yeah, that kind of sucked, but I'm gonna do my work anyway. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I love that. Like, yeah, that might not have worked out the way I want, but I'm not about to stop because I know my skill. I absolutely love her. First of all, if you went to Confidence Activated, you might have seen my girl on stage because she's a big deal. If you had the pleasure of being in the room, you might have seen my girl win a little picture contest, but we'll get to that later. Dion, I'm so glad that you are here. Dion, how are you?
I tell you, listen to that introduction. I'm like, who is she getting ready to introduce? Well, thank you for that. And hello, everyone, whether, like she said earlier, whether you're from Facebook or IG or YouTube, just hello to everyone. I am Dion Sandiford. I always think it's your Tia when I say something like that. And I'm just grateful to be here and share with you my journey. To tell you a little bit about me, I have a sewing and embroidery business, and I will tell you more about my journey as the questions come up. I will tell you that Courage took me from, and it's funny when you said that when you first saw me, because my introduction to you was through Patrice, and I was getting ready to do something that was so scary.
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember that?
Yes.
And you prayed over me, and I said, I don't know this group, but if I could have captured what you said and played that recording over and over again, I would have, because you did not know me and the words that you poured into me. I said, God, I can't help but go and be great with this stuff behind me. So thank you for having me here.
I'm so glad you're here. Yes, I remember that. I was like, she's so good. She about to go do this. I was like, that's such a big deal. Like, she don't have good mirrors. She don't know she's the truth. Let me help her see. Let me help her see. Let me clean your mirror off, boo, because you can't see well. So I'm so glad that you are here. Next up, first of all, let me just tell you this, that she was the first person that I talked about for probably like 10 days because she got on my calendar and I was like, I was so like, if you guys have a business, you know, it's great when people that you know want to do business with you. But the first person that want to do business with you and you don't know them, it's like, I've arrived. I actually don't know this person. I don't know where she came from. I'm official. It's official, guys. I don't know her. I don't know where she came from. Absolutely blew my girl. You had me feeling myself. I was like, I don't even know her. They were like, where's she from? I'm like, I never seen her before. I don't know where she came from.
Yeah, and you know, when I think back, I don't know where I found you. I think I was desperately Googling and finding, and I do remember like a couple days before just praying. I'm like, God, please bring somebody into my life to help me make the first step and the first turning point. And somehow I came across you and all your stuff, and then we got on the call, and yeah, and there I was. It's just crazy. Oh yeah, sorry. But hi everybody who gets to watch this. I'm Haley. I'm a sex coach. I live in the Midwest, very small town, southwest corner of Minnesota. I've got 2 daughters. Our main thing is farming. We're farmers. And yeah, I was in the Mastermind just about a year and a half ago. But honestly, I have to constantly think back how long ago it was because I'm so different from then. Yeah. It feels like a completely different life. Like to me, it's like 3 to 5 years ago, not just last year.
Right. Listen, and we're actually talking 2019, right? Because 2020 was, y'all know what 2020 was. 2020 was like, we didn't do nothing. It's like it's the lost years. 2020 is the lost year, right? We don't know what happened. We're talking 2019.
2019? So no, we're not.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm 100% positive.
I don't know.
100% positive. Yep.
Golly, well, that would be okay. Well, yeah, either way, it just feels like forever ago.
Like, wait, what?
Everything has meshed so much together. It just feels like all of it just feels like 3 to 5 years ago. It is.
I'm so glad that you are here. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
All right, last but certainly not least is Latrice. What a big deal. Hey, Latrice. Listen, so I just brought her, like, she didn't even get an introduction because I want to see her face for as long as I can see her face. So y'all just kind of deal with it. Latrice is like, she was so sweet. I actually met her in real life. Like, we know each other in actual real life, been to my home. I remember the first time you called, you were like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't come to Bible study because I'm going to be late. I was like, you can be late, it's fine. It's not a wedding. She was like, are you sure? I was like, yes. I'm like, I'll leave the door unlocked. People come late because they're coming from work. It's not a big deal. It's fine. Latrice is such a big deal, y'all. Y'all don't know, but it's like a big deal for her to be on our stage. Go ahead, Latrice. Don't roll your eyes at me. Tell the people who you are. Okay?
Hello, everyone. My name is Latrice Kersey. I am the owner of LK Creative, which is a resin art supply business. I'm happy to be here. I'm grateful to be here. And I'm just grateful for courage. So I'm looking forward to sharing my story with you guys and getting you guys inspired and hopefully leave with some inspiration. So
yeah, that is so good. Here's the thing. This is what I want you guys to know about the women up here, that while we'll be talking about their experience, they all have something in common. They all came through some cycle of Courageous Living Mastermind. Latrice came through the very first cycle. I won't even tell y'all what the price was then, but I could have worked at McDonald's for what I was doing, you know, like pricing for a bit, which is basically what Patrice said to me on our first call. She was like, oh, so you want to work in fast food? I was like, ma'am, you don't have to speak to me that way. Right? So she came in like first cycle. So all of if there were any mistakes to be made, if I was going to suck at anything, if there were any bugs to iron out, she got them. Haley came in the second cycle, And amazing Aretha and Dion came in through the most recent cycle. There are some others, and you'll get to see like videos from them, not today, but they are traveling or they are in Arizona working or whatever. And so the time just didn't work for them, but you guys will be able to see their take from their cycle as well. Now, that being said, if you know anything about like life and business, you know that the goal for the best type of entrepreneur is to constantly be improving. And so I can honestly say that this next go round of Courageous Living Mastermind, starting in 2022, will be the best that I've ever done, because I'm better and I get better every single day. It will, without question, be the most impactful cycle I've ever done. That being said, I just want y'all to see what I was working with, what I was working with before, and still the impact it had. Like, oh, I'm probably not going to cry, but I did get tissue in case because I don't know what they're going to say. So I'm just ready. You know what I'm saying? I'm just ready. I'm ready to cry. It's fine. All right. I got to pull my questions up. I'm so excited. So super. I know y'all thinking she should have been ready, but y'all know me. I think low key, I was like, is this going to happen? Is it going to happen? I don't know if it's going to happen. Al, you're up first. LK Creative, you're up. It's just because that's how the email comes up, right? So what was your greatest challenge before you enrolled in Courageous Living Mastermind? If you can think back that far, because I know that was a long time ago.
Where do I begin? My whole life was a mess. Honestly, I think my greatest challenge was probably not knowing who I was, not knowing where I fit in the world, just living day to day blindly.
I think that happens for everybody, right? Until there is this catalyst of change where it's like, okay, I'm deciding today to live my life with intention. I think we all kind of do that because we just go to school. People tell us what to do. We go to school. And then we have somebody pressuring us to do something after we graduate from high school. And we just kind of do life every day. We are not taught or instructed or equipped to say, okay, sit back and think about the life that you want to design. Think about who God has created you to be. Think about your talents and your gifts. I know for my life, nobody ever said, hey, Courage, make an inventory of your talents and gifts and then create a life around that. I never had nobody ask me that. And so I don't think that you are alone in that. Haley, can you share a bit of what was like the ultimate deciding factor for you to say, you know what, I'm going to enroll in this. I need a change. I'm willing to take this step.
It's a deep cut of, I just couldn't do it anymore. I was at the point I just wanted to, I had a toddler and I had a baby and I just wanted to run away. I just wanted to be done. I couldn't do any of it anymore. I don't know if you're actually asking me the challenge question, but I'm going to give it anyway and answer that. Okay, just making sure. But the biggest challenge was, it was just like, I didn't feel like enough at all. And I could literally sit here all day. We could have another whole podcast episode, just have me on Q&A, and you guys would get so much from my story, from before to the middle being the mastermind and to now. But the biggest challenge, I was just like, I'm not enough. I've actually got videos that I took of myself, like video journals on my computer, because I was I needed to talk to somebody at the time. It was just me. I was like, I had no one to talk to but myself. So I look back at those and I just looked. I mean, I might look a little bit like a mess today because I was taking care of a sick kid and just like hanging out and vegging. But like those videos, like you could just see I was so drained. And in my voice, I was so desperate. I'm just like, I don't understand. Why does this have to be like, I shouldn't be like this. There was breast milk everywhere. My outfits were just like, I was the frumpiest of frumpy. And I like fashion. And it's just like, I completely lost myself. And every time I would always go to God, and it wasn't like repenting type. I was always just like over and over again asking for my salvation over and over again. I remember at one point my pastor kind of catching on to that and questioning me on it. He's like, it's a one-time deal. God doesn't stop loving you and he doesn't forsake you. You don't need to come ask for the stuff. I was always like, well, I'm not good enough though. I'm not good enough. And it made me show up for my kids a certain way. My family did not recognize me. It was so hard for everybody around me at the time. And I just decided I won't be living soon if I don't do something, because at the time my husband was not crazy about handing money over. I used to be a stay-at-home mom, by the way, everybody. So I had nothing and for myself. And my husband was not crazy about giving me the money. And I was like, I don't care if I have to go find a job. I'm doing this. So that was my biggest challenge.
What about, first of all, it's so crazy. Like, as soon as I saw your faces today, that I think is what overwhelmed me. It's insane. It is insane in real time, right? And in real life, not this like theoretical. I think a lot of times, especially in this space that we're in, entrepreneurship, I think a lot of times you see people selling products and services that are going to make your house the cleanest ever. It's going to make you the most productive. It's going to make you the most whatever. But when you actually have experience and you have been a part of seeing that person, you interacted with them there, that is not something that you forget when you start to see them finally being who God has created them to be the entire time, right? I think that sometimes we think if we don't do all of the things that we don't have an impact, and more than just like, everybody that's watching, more than you just feeling like, oh, well, am I going to get in the program? Or like, that's not it, right? I want you to understand how your yes has an impact. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to I did not help them do everything. I'm a one-trick pony, my guy, okay? I got one trick. Y'all know it. I got one little trick, and that's the same little trick I use every time, all the time. But that doesn't mean that God isn't going to use that one piece that you have to have an impact, to improve somebody's life, to give them some joy in their life, to give them some excitement, something, right? Just that one yes. I think we sometimes don't step into it because we feel like we have to do everything, right? And I think that feeling of not being enough really comes from feeling like, oh, well, I got to be able to do all the things. You don't have to be able to do it. Like, what's my thing? Can I get on my place on this wall to build the wall, right? Can I just do this one thing? Amazing. Aretha, can you speak to, your story's a little different, right? But can you speak to this program? First of all, let me just tell y'all, Aretha used to introduce herself in communities, like when we'd be in communities together, and I would be like, everybody introduce themselves. Aretha used to be like, hi, I'm the amazing Aretha, and I am Courage's ideal client. I'd be like, I'm like, this lady is crazy, but she is not lying. And the reason she says that is because, you do good work when people want to continue to do business with you. It's one thing for me to order a shirt from you, or for me to order, Formica powders from you one time. It's another thing for me to have, like, I got a standing order. I'm ordering from you every single time. What does that mean? That speaks to the quality of the work that you do. You don't want to be chasing a brand new customer every single time. And so she wasn't lying, but I was just like, I literally never heard nobody introduce themselves. So go ahead, ideal client. How did you, what made you ultimately decide to join Courageous Living Mastermind? And this is probably program number, I don't even know. I can't even keep up. It's not the first program she did with me. I don't know where it falls in the lineup, but what made you sign up for this one in particular? What was the problem that you were facing that made you say yes to this?
Okay, so for Courageous Living Mastermind in particular, what happened is that I had just completed Purpose to Platform, where we look at our talents and our purpose and taking it into the marketplace. This ended, you launched, but basically I was left like, what am I going to do now? I have the strategy. I know what I'm supposed to do. And in that program, you were actually one of our accountability coaches. I was not directly in your group, but I kept poking into your group assignments and what you would give your group to do, because you'd always give them more. You would stretch them a little more. And for me, I am that type of individual. I'm a high achiever. So I'm always looking for more. And I needed to have some kind of adjustment, some kind of guidance, some kind of accountability in really bringing everything together, in trying to live my life in what I call a harmonious way, with balancing, well, not balancing, harmony between my business and my family. And when you sent out the email for the masterclass and I read them, like, okay, definitely, because number one, I am stuck with courage like white on rice. So whatever she has, I'm going to find a reason why I need it. So as soon as I read it, I'm like, yes, I am going to be in this. I'm going to find a way to be in that. And I got on the masterclass on the same night I signed up. The masterclass was on the 12th of December. I signed up on the 12th of December. It's because I really needed the accountability. I love your style of accountability. It is what I needed for my aptitude, for my kind of personality. And what I love more about it is that I love God. You love God. We're in love with God. And the Courageous Living Mastermind has a certain component that helps you build your faith and strengthen your spiritual walk with God. So definitely that was the icing on top of the cake for me. But really, coming out of P2P, I just needed the support to bring everything together. I needed the accountability. I needed somebody who had already done it in business to guide me and to give me the tools I needed that I could have been a success. So that was the need I had in particular to enroll in the Courageous Living Mastermind.
Thank you. Listen, let me tell you something. She's not lying. She is this way in real life. And as soon as the program is over, if you guys are wondering, like, well, how do you have all these programs? I'm telling you right now, you want to know why I have so many? It's because of Aretha. Because when the program is over, she's like, well, what you about to do now? Because I'm not going nowhere. I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't have anything else. She's like, well, talk to God. He'll tell you. Talk to him because I'm not going anywhere. I'm like, I don't think the Lord got nothing else. And then I'll be like, man, you was talking to Aretha? I got something else. You know what I'm saying? You guys have Aretha to thank for Courageous Faith Mastermind, for Courageous Faith membership. You have her to thank because she's like, we need her and Dion, they're like, we need something ongoing. What's going to happen when it's over? No, people need ongoing support. It's not you're not about to just dump folks. Aretha came through Courageous Discipleship. She was like, okay, well, I'm not done. I still need support. And I think that is one of the things that separates people, right? I think that's one of the things that separates people, being able to identify and be self-aware. What is it? Like, yes, I've grown, but I know that my best days are ahead of me. What is it that I need next? What is my next best step? Because I haven't arrived until I get to heaven. You know, when I'm done, when I'm in heaven, I'll be like, yeah, I know I done that because these are the pearly gates. What's up? What's good? This is real retirement. I know that I'm not done improving. I'm not done being used by God until I get to the pearly gates. So it's like, okay, now we've achieved this. What are we about to do next? And what do I need to get there next? And so that's one of the things that I love about you. Dion is literally the only person that this has ever happened with. I just want to make sure that's the truth before I say it. Yeah, 100. It's 100% true. Now, how did you come to be in? Your story is so unique. Okay.
I know. I was listening to the amazing Aretha, because she and I were in P2P together, and when P2P finished, I, just like Aretha, was like, okay, I need something else. And so I went to our leader at that time, and Patrice Cunningham Washington, and she said, no, ma'am. And if anybody who knows Patrice Cunningham Washington, she is straight, no chaser.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, ma'am, the program that I have next is not for you. And I'm like, but I need something else. She's like, well, okay, but this isn't it. She said, I'm not going to take your money. And so I'm just like, what do I do? I'm like a little puppy. I'm lost. And because of the amazing growth that I had from P2P, I mean, I didn't see it at the time, but the people who saw me pre, during, and post P2P, they say that I physically look different. outside of just my spirit as being different. So I latched on to Patrice Washington, and she was adamant that because her next program was Command the Stage. And she was like, this is not what you know. I'm searching, and I don't know. No, what happened was Courage reached out to me, and she said, you know, I had this conversation with Patrice, and she and Patrice, they were talking about me. It's like,
Yeah.
well, what are you gonna do with Dion? Well, Patrice was like, well, she don't belong here. I'm thinking she belongs with you. And then Courage was like, I think she belongs with me too. So she reached out to me, and I was just like, okay, because I knew I needed community. I didn't know I needed community until I had community.
Yeah.
Because when you're in community and in the right community, that's key, then
Yeah.
you know how much you can go to that next level. So that's how I got into Courage's program, because Patrice wouldn't let me in hers and
It's
sent me
so
to
crazy.
Courage.
It's so crazy because I've worked with Patrice since 2019. And as a co-coach in a program, you know, I'm sure y'all know this. There are contracts, there are rules, there are things that you can and can't do. And I respect that, you know. I have never, since I worked with her, like all the things I've done with her, I have never once reached out to her to say, hey, this person I want to pitch this program to, this person I want to tell them about my program. Never before and never since, just so we clear. Now, somebody might find my Bible study, then they get on my email list. I'm still in everybody on my email list. This is business. You feel me? Like, that's one thing. But to reach out to her and be like, hey, and I was a little nervous because I had never done that before. I'd never asked her that question. We never really, it was still in the first year that we had been working together. So I was like, I don't know if she's going to be like, girl, stop. You know, I just didn't know. I mean, I know that she is a woman of great integrity, but I still didn't know how she would respond to that, you know? And when I reached out to her, I was like, listen, I ain't saying everybody need to be in the program, but I think that I can take Dion to the next level. Like, this was like, when I created this program, the Lord was like making a roster. He was like, Dion, you know, and
Exactly.
out. And she was like, oh yeah, that's great. I actually just talked. So I didn't know that she had talked to you, or that I didn't know that until I reached out to her. And so I'm so glad that I stepped out and did it, because it was a scary thing for me.
That speaks to being, I don't want to.
No, go ahead.
It speaks to being obedient.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that Patrice teaches us. And I know she taught you, because you were in P2P prior to both Aretha and I being in there. And being obedient is so important. It is so important. And being quiet and listening, because I just knew that I needed Patrice, irrespective of what she was doing. I felt I needed her. And she was like, no, ma'am. And I keep saying that because that's what she said. No, ma'am. I'm not taking your money. No, ma'am. We got to figure out something. You need to go speak to Courage. And when everybody stays in their lane and they stay in obedience, God really does reward that. Because when you are obedient and you are doing what he wants you to do, then that's what gets rewarded.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for Patrice being obedient to what she does, then she would not have had the, I don't know, the faith, the ability, whatever, to say, you know what, I'm not taking anything away from me if I tell Dion she needs to be with Courage. Because that's what my obedience tells me to do.
Yeah.
Because she knew I wasn't the right fit for her. Although I will say now I think I am.
Yeah, I think so too, actually.
Because I've had more speaking engagements, more interviews. When I tell my story later, I've had more people come to me and I'm like, see, you kicked me out. Now I need command the stage. But again, I want to end the sentence saying this. Whoever's listening to this, be quiet and be obedient. And there you go.
I love that. And I love that you said, like, oh, okay, I think now I need to be in command of the stage, because I think sometimes we have all these things that we think we want to do. And if just because it's a not now, it's not a permanent no. right? It was like, okay, that wasn't the right thing at that time. But now that you've gone through this and you've done some other things, right, which I'm sure you'll share, it's like, okay, now it's time. Like I wasn't prepared for this stage, but now I have the confidence. I got the story. Like I'm ready to do the next thing. And so I love that you shared that. I want to, if y'all, I feel like, I don't know if y'all can think back. I feel like Dion and Amaze and Aretha, they can think back. They just had it. Latrice and Haley, if y'all could think way back to when y'all were in the program, what do you think was, as far as the program itself was concerned, was the most impactful component of the program for you personally? Like, I can't remember everything we did, but this thing right here, this is what gave me the thing, you know? Whoever would like to go first. Don't y'all all go at once?
I can go.
Go ahead, Amazing Aretha.
For me, what had the most impact for me? Well, two things. But firstly was conquering my calendar. So my coach couldn't tell me, so you're keeping a fake calendar. You remember that?
Yes, I do.
You remember that? You snatched my edges. You left me bald. I felt so inauthentic. I was miserable with myself. Listen, you put me all together. So I don't miss deadlines. And many persons that I interact with, my clients and personally, they admire this about me. That's something they talk about. How I keep my schedule. If it's not in my schedule, it don't get done. Now I do have flexibility there. And I ensure, again, coming back to that harmonious living, you taught us how to color code and ensure that every area of our life was incorporated into our calendar. So my time with my friends, my time for myself, my self-care, my time for house chores, everything gets into the calendar, backed up by alarms. Listen, this has revolutionized my life. Honestly, I feel like a champion just because I've conquered it. So for me, that was the biggest thing. It has made me very effective with not just my task, but being more productive with what I have assigned to be done with it. And I plan from starting the planning from the month before, breaking down to the week before, the reviews. This had the biggest impact on my life. When I look tangibly, that has just honestly revolutionized my life. The other thing for me was the community. I know you asked for one that I have to give to.
It's always one in the group. Go ahead.
It was the community. And this is where I learned to be again authentically myself and walk in the power of who I really was. Because all along, I was putting on the facade. Even coming into P2P, I only allowed a little bit of me to shine through. I always, you when you get in the room, they say you're too bright. You're the one putting the blinders so people don't see you.
Yeah.
Courageous Living Mastermind had me to come out and be me. Bold, me, amazing me, saying who I am. Doesn't matter who don't like it. Doesn't matter who like it. Knowing my identity in Christ, being a mini God, being the child of the Most High, knowing that how my daddy views me, and just walking in that authority backed by that power in accepting myself, being myself, even the relationships that I formed in there. And again, Dion could look at my face and tell if something was wrong with me, even if I tried to hide it, even if nobody knows what I was going through, y'all could sense it. That's the kind of connection we had in there. This heart-minded people, that's where I got my prayer partner. Listen, those friendships, those connections, to me are so much more valuable than friendships I've even had for my lifetime. When you have your victories, you are celebrated, they shine with you. When you're going through difficulty, and although the coach doesn't want us to do struggles, but we all have our downtimes, they're right there in the girth with you, praying with you, and not just saying, I will pray for you, but calling you on the phone and praying with you. So for me, the community is really what had me to embrace my authentic self, because for too long, I felt I was too bright and kept putting on the demons. But you know what? Right now, I am me. Unapologetically me. If I am too much for you, you put on your shades. You put... But those were the most two impactful things from CLM for me.
First of all, I don't know what I thought you were going to share, but I'm so glad that you shared that. Let me just tell y'all, she was like, oh, I put it on my calendar. I'm like, so, but you didn't get it done. She's like, no, I just wrote it down. I'm like, so that's fake. It's just, I mean, you like, that's a cartoon. You just wrote whatever, but you didn't open it. You didn't play it. I was like, bro, this is not. She's like, well, I did my assignment. I'm like, no, that's really the assignment. And so I loved when you started using it. I think the community is something, it is hard to describe because, you know, with Courageous Faith membership, we are at like 40 women. And so that's kind of a lot. Even in Bible study, even though we get connected, we get like 200 women. That's kind of a lot. 60 women on a call at a time. That's kind of a lot. But in this program in particular, it's so small. And it wasn't always this small, but it is so small. There are 10 people. We know when you didn't come. When it's only 10 people, everybody's on the screen. Okay. So anybody who not there, we know you're not there, and somebody is checking on you. And I think that it is sometimes easier to hide. It's sometimes easier to pretend like it's all good when there are, you know, when the numbers are large, like in some of the other communities that I have. And so, you know, this is not a place. Now listen, friends, listen. If you want to hide, this ain't it for you. This just is not it. You can hide in other communities. You can hide in Courageous Faith membership. You can hide over there because I can't see everybody on the screen at the same time. You can hide in Bible study on Saturday morning because I can't see everybody. You can hide over there. Those are good places. This is not the place. This ain't the place to sign up to hide. Don't do it to yourself. All right. Who's up next? Like the most impactful thing that you can think of from your time in the program. Now you want me to call your name like olden days? Okay, cool. Latrice. I mean, I don't want to pick y'all. You know, let me just tell y'all this too. Let me just let y'all know, y'all who are watching. Some of these folks on this screen, it was not an easy yes for them. I wonder if they rolled their eyes when they got the request, if they were like, bruh, she's tripping. But I appreciate they overcame their introversion to do the Lord's good work and give the Lord, let the people know what you got. Okay? You're
up. One thing that I know that stuck out the most for me, and I still keep with me to this day, is we were in, I can't remember like the module that we were in, but it was just a simple question of like, who are you? Right? And you know, I'm Latrice, you know, very, very surface level, very, very surface level, right? And you pushed us and you was like, no, like, who are you? And it was like, and that was really like, it seems ridiculous, but that was like the first time where I actually dug deep and was like, I'm a creative. You know, I said it out loud. I meant it. I explored it. It was frightening. And it was very confusing because I was like, I had no idea that I did not know this question, or I never explored the answer to the question, I would say. So every time I find myself in a weird space, I just ask myself, like, who are you? Who are you? Know who you are. Get it done. Stop playing.
I think it's understated, right? I think that it's understated, but the truth is our identity is the foundation of like everything grows, lives, and dies from that space. Everything you try to do, everything you put your mind to do, your bounce back, your resilience, your ability to persevere, it all comes back to who you believe you are. And when you know who you are, like when you understand like okay, I'm a creative, that means that it really doesn't matter what I'm doing or not doing. That doesn't change my identity. So I'm a creative when I'm creating, and I'm a creative when I'm not creating. So am I going to do this thing I was put on this earth to do? It doesn't really matter at what level I'm doing it. I am a creative. I'm going to create. It doesn't matter if I have a platform or if I don't have a platform. I'm going to create because, you know, I meet people, I'm like, oh, I'm a motivational speaker. Oh, I want to encourage people, but you ain't did no lives. You ain't motivated nobody. You ain't got no motivational quotes on your Instagram, bro. Like, what are you talking about, right? Because what you are, you do, right? Oh, I'm a writer, but you don't write. So are you? Because writers write. I'm not saying that every writer's got a published book. I'm saying writers write, creatives create. And I think that when you understand who you are, like the identity, the DNA of who you are, and you realize that your ability to articulate, to create, to produce fruit, like your ability to increase and multiply on this earth is because God has actually anointed you and put the word of God. Listen, I ain't trying to preach to y'all. I just got to say this one little thing, okay? The word of God talks about how he put his spirit. I put my spirit on him, the spirit of knowledge and wisdom and the ability to design metal and work with metal and do all things artisanal. Like, that's in the word. I think that sometimes we miss that. Every single ability and skill and talent that you have, your ability to listen, to encourage, your ability to explain something, your experience, those are things that God has knitted together so that you can get a work done on this earth. And I think that sometimes we think we don't have a responsibility, but you do. You have, listen, I'm not trying to yell at y'all. I'm going to bring it down, okay? You have a responsibility to walk in the purpose because that purpose is God's delivery system. And I don't care where the world has ranked what you do. I literally don't care where the world has ranked what you do because somebody is listening right now saying, well, all I do is, that is so disrespectful, bro. Like, that's the level of disrespect that y'all have for my daddy. I ain't that saved. Okay? Don't do it. Do not be disrespecting my dad like that. Right? This, oh, well, all I do, I'm just you're not just anything. You were chosen for something he gave you. Somebody out here don't have that skill. And somebody out here needs the thing that you have. Like, somebody out here needs the thing that you have, whether it is to bring them joy. Like, I think that people don't read the Bible enough to know, like, they wasn't preaching the whole time. They was laughing. You know, the Lord had a lot of clapbacks. What do you think you get your sense of humor from? You know, the way that they created things for the temple. Do you realize how unnecessary that was? I think that sometimes we boil down what's important and purpose. We boil it down to the things that would fill a church staff, right? These are people who you're not reading it. You're not reading it. Because when you look at the word, you can see that the temple that Solomon built for God, it was so extra. It was so, listen, friends, he had LK Creative for Micah Potter on everything. Everything was glittered. Everything was shining. Everything was bedazzled. He was like, yeah, put some bedazzle on that. Yeah, put some sequence right in that. Like, every single thing about the temple that a non-physical God was going to put his presence in, right, was so extra. I think that we miss that. I think that we sometimes forget. I hope your kids not watching this because I'm about to say something about sex, so get them out the room. I think that sometimes we forget that sex was created by God. And I mean, I be saying, you know, listen, I'm a married woman. It's good, friends. And he created it to be good, friends. And so if I'm in a situation, listen, everybody says sex isn't important, right? Like, oh my God, that's like, until you marry and you ain't getting it. Then until you marry and it ain't good. Now your life is miserable and you drink it. Like, this sex is trash. Somebody pour me up a bourbon, right? Like, you ain't happy, the man ain't happy, and now that impacts your marriage, divorce, like all of these things. Do you understand that the way that we have been created? Do you understand what I'm saying? Every single thing about us, the way we have been created, that God handpicked those things. The nervous system is not like nerves and pain and pleasure. He didn't just like pull that out of his Scrabble bag and like, well, I hope that works out for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not how, like, it's very intentional. And I feel like the more we understand things, like the more we understand how things actually work, we can see how God is using us no matter what the industry is. I think that sometimes we miss that. Anybody else, somebody else can share, like, what is like the greatest thing that you can remember from the program itself, that you took from the program itself?
I want to go. Because of what you just said, as far as I'm just or that was so me. And because of my sewing and embroidery ability, sewing is such a non-respected thing with some people, especially people in my family, let's put it that way. And I am formally educated. I have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree. And I only share that not to boast. I share it because my family would say, you are so educated. Why do you just sew? Or why do you sew for those people? And so they really diminished my sewing ability. It's cute. It's nice. It's not going to make you money. And, I ran programs and I was director of, and I had all the titles. It wasn't hitting. It wasn't bringing me joy. Sewing brought me joy. Sewing wasn't respected though. So when I came on and I came into Courageous group, she would get on me, and Lydia comes to mind. I don't know if Lydia's watching this, but she's like, stop saying that. No, you don't just, how many people wish they knew, like, I can't sew on a button. I would love to have that skill. So the community, when I say find community, they really lifted me up and they helped me to realize that. And there's one particular person, I've already had a come into Jesus meeting with her. My sister, she would get on me. And Courage one thing you said, Courage, that really just hit home. You said that when I used to speak of my sister, I would physically shrink.
Yeah.
And that, you remember saying that to me?
Yes.
And you said I would, now mind you, my sister's in a whole nother different state. And when I would talk about her in the group, I guess I really did become smaller and like, I guess I I don't know what I did. I don't know what you saw. And it just really hit home. And this community helped me to see that my sewing is a talent.
Mm-hmm.
My sewing is a gift. And and we learned this also in P2P, just because it comes easy to me doesn't give me the right to diminish it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what Courage taught. That was the gift that because God does give everybody a gift. And I didn't respect that sewing was my gift because I didn't see it, because it came so easy. I'm thinking because I got myself through graduate school, because I wrote this paper, and because I did the hard stuff, and because my family valued brain power, that was it. And they were like, no. Yeah. And so the one thing that you gave me, and I'm like Aretha, you gave me more than one thing. You gave me the courage and ability to say that I can't say I no longer, I really am mindful of when I say I just sew. I take that out of my vocabulary. I take the just part out of my vocabulary. I am a sewer, and I'm pretty darn good at it.
Okay.
And also that it's okay to not be in agreement with your family.
Yeah.
And I no longer shrink to my sister. Actually, I stood up to her while I was in your group. I was able to finally tell my sister, you can't talk to me that way anymore. You can't do that. And I got that strength from this community. So That's what I wanted to say. That's what I got from you.
You know what? I'm glad that you shared that, because I think a lot of times when we think about, programs for working and programs for entrepreneurship and things like that, and like, oh, it's mindset, and it's all there in Courageous Living Mastermind. It's all there, but it really truly is a holistic approach, because the truth is, when I'm struggling in my personal relationships, that has an impact on how I feel about myself. That has an impact on how I show up in my work. I mean, we are not robots. You know what I'm saying? We're not robots. When things are difficult in other spaces, if we're not equipped, if we don't have a safe space, then we don't have an opportunity to work through that. And that is something else that we can do, because it's a smaller group, right? Because it's an intimate group. We have the time and the space. I got okay, I was going to talk about this, but what do we need to address? Because those things don't matter if, like, it doesn't matter about you showing up on social media if you feel like crap. Like, who cares? That's not the real thing, right? I think that in addition to like knowing your talent and knowing your identity, we have to remember that we are the vessel. And it's the vessel above everything else. I have to make sure I'm good mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, because when I'm not, then I'm struggling to do anything, right? I can't be my best at anything. And so I love that you shared that, because it may not be at the top of somebody's list of things that they need to work through, things with their family or whatever. But even though we don't say it, we all know it's true, right? That when I'm struggling in my relationships, I struggle to show up for my people, right? Like, it makes it harder. It's the truth. And so I'm glad you shared that. I know that we're going to be wrapping up here, but what I would love for y'all to do is I'm just going to go in this order: Latrice, Haley, Amazing, Aretha, and Tia. So y'all can be ready. Just going to go in this order. I want you to share where you are now, right? And let me just say this, y'all. The program is not a lifetime. It's not. I have not been working with them their whole life and still working with them every day. That ain't it. But getting to where you're going, it's a journey, and it takes pieces and tools. And I just want you to know who they are and where they are now, and understand that they picked up at least one tool for their journey when they stopped into Courageous Living Mastermind. Okay, they didn't get their whole toolkit over here, but they got a tool in the journey that prepared them for their next thing. Latrice, just tell the people about how you shining right now. Go ahead.
Where am I right now? I will honestly say that I am still in the middle. But the great thing
about she lying.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you, I'm still in the middle, right? I'm still in the middle only because I still struggle with my own imposter syndrome and all of those things, and I don't feel like I fully take advantage of the blessing in this pathway that God has paid for me. I'm still in the middle, but the amazing thing about where I'm at right now is that I know that I'm not going back. There's no way that I can go back. He won't let me go back, no matter how, even if I tried. So with the mindset of knowing that I have to keep pushing forward, it's great, because I wake up every day and I say, God, what would you have me do today? Now, if you want to really get to brass tactics and numbers and all of that stuff, on paper, I'm doing great, right? I got a community. I run a whole creative community. Business is doing well. I'm learning every day. Yeah, and I'm blessed. I am honestly blessed just to wake up every day and know that I am living in my true purpose. I am doing what I was made to do, even though it was never I sell resin art supplies, and I kind of stumbled into that whole creative niche, if you will. I've always been a creative, just good with anything with my hands. And every day I question, like, how did I get here? And every day I thank the Lord that I did get there, because just like Miss Dion was saying, you know, when you speak to somebody about creating or being a creative, you know, they look at it more as a hobby. And I knew that I needed this to be a lifestyle. I needed it to be a lifestyle, because no matter what I do, no matter what job I had, I will always wake up and go to sleep and want to create something. So I knew that it being a hobby was just not an option for me. Um, and I'm just thankful that God made a way for me to be doing it full time. Yeah, and business is just growing, like, you know, like it's just amazing, like freaking amazing, like. So
Where can they find you?
you guys can find me on all social media platforms. LK Creative, that's ELLEK Creative. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I'm doing really good on TikTok. I got like 2.8 million views on one of my videos. So yeah, that's where you guys can find me. And I also run a group called the Creative Snobs.
Yes. Thank you so much for your yes and letting the people know where they can find you. That's right. Listen, my note takers. That's what's up. LK Creative, so y'all know how to spell it. She's definitely a big deal on TikTok. I'll be like, if I see another LK Creative in my For You section, they're like, oh, she's your friend. I know that. I don't need to see every single video. They got you a heavy rotation, girl. Haley, tell the people where, like, so we've had this whole journey. Where are you now? Like, what?
Well, I don't even know where to start with that question, because I'm not the same in any way. I don't dress the same. I don't talk the same. I don't interact with people the same. And the thing is here is that it's even with a lot of the same circumstances, you know, the same things that I was up against before is all the same, but I am completely different. I am, you know, went from being like, which I was very anxious and depressed and things like that. And I was so afraid to, you know, be who I was, and always thought that I wasn't enough, and went to being like, I'm a sex coach now. And like, it's just, you know, to go from not having social media at all, and then to getting on and starting to talk about sex on social media and in public. I'm on track to be in a 200K mastermind next spring. I work 15 hours a week. My girls don't really go to daycare or anything like that. They are home most of the time. My husband works a lot. My house, it doesn't always look like a bomb has gone off, and I make clean clothes. I have clean dishes. It's just a completely different life. Like, my perspective of everything is so grounded, and it's so much more playful and curious and bold. And it's just, like, everything else behind me just seems like such a different life.
I love that. I love that you both had something in common. It's like things changed and you're not where you started, right? And I don't just mean like, oh, I'm not where I started, I've improved. I mean, the things that they started to do in the beginning of their entrepreneurial journey is not where they ended up. She didn't say, you know what? I'm going to start a resin art company. You know what? I'm going to be a sex coach. They were like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then they just took the steps, and it evolved and led them to this great space that they're in. And so I just want to make that distinction, because some of y'all are afraid to make decisions right now. Y'all are afraid to just start. Listen, friend, it's not the 10 Commandments. It's not carved in stone, okay? Just pick something. Start there and then just walk that thing out. I absolutely love that. Miss Aretha.
Yes. So where am I now? Woo! I'm having the ride of my life. Living life on my terms. Jet setting like I visualized, and truly enjoying the freedom of working from a laptop anywhere. Having my Freedom Fridays and no work on the weekend. So from Friday to Sunday, I'm off.
I love that.
And I'm really loving it. I must say that clarity does come in the doing, and I have transitioned a number of times. You have to stick with things and be consistent, but sometimes you have to make a 360 turn and go right back to where you started. And
Oh,
so I am now, I have rebranded, and I'm a life strategist empowering women to live life on their terms, to live according to what God has planned for them. And I model it after my life. All the things that I was afraid of doing, all being afraid of being, this is what I teach them to do, to set the goals that they truly want for themselves and to crush those goals. I am having fun with the clients that I'm working in right now. It brings me joy. I am loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. And right now, what this community does, you actually, when you in communities like that, like I was telling Dion at the last event we went, we get the coding from courage, coding from the people that are connected to it, coding from the communities that we show up with. And I'm at the point right now, and I have not said it publicly, but I'm going to say it right now. Courage, I think you remember that I did an event back December last year.
yes.
So when I left the last event we were on, somebody planted a little seed in my head that I paid no attention to. But when I asked myself, what steps am I taking, leaving that session, and God whispered it to me, and you know, He speaks to be obeyed, not to be heard.
Yeah.
So I'm planning something huge for my little island. I have brain dumped. I have made some contacts, and I'm working on that. So look for that before the first quarter ends next year. So
Okay.
that's where
Okay.
I am.
Okay, big things. Where can they find you, amazing Aretha?
On IG, I'm Your Amazing Academy. On Facebook, I'm Aretha Auguste. It's August with an E to the end. And yes, I'll leave it like that for now. If I could drop the link of my website, I would drop it. But you can follow me on IG, Your Amazing Academy, and we can take it from there.
I am going to put all of the contact information in the description for all the spaces. And I'm going to send out this little ditty here, this replay to my email list. And it will also have all of your contact stuff so that people can get with all of you. Dion, tell us, Dion. Go ahead, tell us something, Dion.
I am still pinching myself that did this really happen to me? And I know I said the word obedient probably 100 times. I want to say it 101 times. After being in Courage's group, and I think it was concurrent that I also joined Faith Activated. So I was doing you guys together, right? Courage group.
Yes.
So there was an overlap there. And I have to pay respect to Rachel,
Luna.
Luna. I was going to say Kalima because I'm blurring the two names together. Rachel Luna, and she has Faith Activated, and that's a whole nother experience. And before I share that part of my story, something that Courage said: don't think just because you went into one program, I got it. That's it. I'm done. Each program gives you something else to build on. So you take a nugget and you take another nugget. So just know that you always need to pour into yourself and don't let anyone, why are you spending money on that? Or why are you doing this? Hush them up. Hush. I need to do this for my development because people will try to talk you out of that or think that you've done one program and if any program tells you that they are going to just heal you and this is it, then you need to run because that is so not true. They lie. Like you said, they lie. So with me, the reason why I share that is because while I was in Courage's program and then also joining Faith Activated, again, I was struggling with some of the same issues, image issues. I'm not good enough. I just so, why did I leave corporate America? To me, the ugly record was playing in my head. And those two programs, like I said, helped me to realize that I'm actually pretty darn good at embroidery and sewing. And while I was in Faith Activated, I was invited to, well, let me back up. I created an item. I created a product after my friends telling me, D, why is this on your shelf? Take it off the shelf. You need to update it. I took it off the shelf. I updated it, came into the group, shared it with both groups. They said, okay, something you need to push this a little further. I did. And it got me into a pitch contest. And I'll just rewind. I just go to the end, fast forward to the end. I won the pitch contest and I won $5,000 for my product.
Come on.
And that $5,000 was going to be for research and development to further my product. Rachel Luna, I shared it in the group, and she said, would you come to Confidence Activated, which is her yearly program, and share your story, because there are women in the audience that need to know that a dream is possible to become real. So I shared the story, and anybody, again, if anybody out there who knows me, I don't like videos. That's what I told when Courage asked me to do this. I'm like, oh God, I gotta be on video.
Of course you want me on video.
So I do stuff, and I just do it afraid. So don't think, oh, that's just a shtick and she's just saying that. No, I really am scared. I just pray to God and just go, okay, give me the words, let me make it happen. And I just do it afraid. And so I went on stage and I told my story. What I did know that there was someone in the audience, and I have to pay respect to her, Jamie Kern Lima was in the audience, and she heard my story. And when I said I told my story, I told it from the rooter to the tutor.
One second. Just for the people who haven't Googled Jamie Kern Lima, she recently sold her cosmetic company to L'Oreal for $1.2 billion. Please continue.
Yes. So, and listening to her, and I'm just like, wow, wow, wow. Look at what she's done. And what I didn't know, that she was weaving in my story into her story and talking about how people didn't have faith in her and how there were family members that didn't share her or didn't support her in her image issues, because her cosmetic line dealt with it deals with rosacea. And so just the whole thing of this image issues, and here I'm on stage dealing with my issues. Well, anyway, but at the end, she blessed me. I'm still with $10,000 worth of my product. Now, mind you, I just won a pitch session on October 7th. Confidence Activated was the 17th. I had 2 prototypes, and she just ordered $10,000 worth. I'm like, does this lady know that I have two prototypes? Not only did she bless me with $10,000 worth of orders, she sponsored me to go into Rachel Luna's Mastermind class. So, and I had written on a piece of paper, and if you don't think I'm telling the truth, I sent the evidence to Courage. I said, Courage, this is the paper that I wrote on. I said, God, I just want to sign on to go into Rachel Luna's Mastermind class. I had the first payment. I didn't know where the rest of the money was coming from. And I wrote it on a piece of paper. Less than, I would say, when I say 5 minutes, I'm probably giving it 3. Jamie Kern Lima got on the stage and said, not only am I going to give her the money for her covers to be shared with daycares and shelters of her choice for the underserved, I'm going to sponsor Dion to go into the Mastermind.
How much is the Mastermind?
Say it again.
How much is the Mastermind?
$7,500.
Okay.
So she blessed me with $17,500.
Buick? She blessed you with a Buick? $17,500?
And I'm just like, wow. And what this goes to show you is, one, again, being obedient. Because if God didn't bless Jamie with her idea so that she could become a billionaire, she wouldn't be in the room. Rachel Luna wouldn't have asked me if she wasn't obedient to what she needed to ask me to be in that room. See how God just gets everything going. This started years ago. This started with him giving the idea to Jamie Kalima. This started with Rachel Luna deciding that she wanted to be a neuroscientist and going ahead and developing her program. And then here comes little old Leon sitting in her program after being with Courage Molina. God, you gotta be a baby. You gotta be obedient. And that's my story.
I love it. I love y'all. First of all, y'all got a girl feeling like a big deal. Like, bruh, if y'all couldn't stand me before, I'm gonna be watching this video. I'm gonna be like, no, I actually am a big deal because I seen my own video. Y'all couldn't tell me nothing before. Y'all dang sure ain't gonna be able to tell me nothing now. This is what I want you to take away from this. There are a couple things I want y'all to take away from this. That one, there is no one-stop shop to success. That's not how this works. There's no one-stop shop to where God is taking you. It takes a village. It takes getting knowledge, and that is something that you have to lean into. The word of God says, though it costs you all you have, you understand what I'm saying? Get knowledge, get understanding. He says, woe to he who walks alone, because when you fall down, there is nobody on this planet who's not going to fall. You're going to fall, friend. You're going to take a trip, friend. The Lord says, woe to you when you walk by yourself. You need to be in a community. He says, walk with the wise and you become wise. That the Lord is talking about community. And I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna let y'all go. I ain't gonna hold y'all. Y'all know I feel like I'm closing soon. The doors of the church about to be open. Let me tell you something. Jesus had a gang and you're not the Messiah. Okay? I'm just trying to keep it 100 with you. Jesus had a gang and you're not the Messiah. He needed community. Now you want to model your life after Jesus, but you want to do everything isolation. That is not the Lord's way, honey. Okay, he had a gang. It's how it works. You understand what I'm saying? And so anybody who thinks, you just can think it, that you might be interested in getting on a call to see if Courageous Living Mastermind is the next best step for you. And I only have 9 spots. I know I said I had 10, but somebody already signed up. And I think I got an email from somebody, but I haven't opened it. So I don't know if her email says, yes, she's in or no, she's not in. So I might only have 8 spots left. Okay. And I only do this once a year. Do you hear me? I only do this once a year. You may not know all the parts of the program. That's what I'm saying. Get on the call with me. Send me an email, courage@couragemolina.com, and just put in the subject line, let's talk. And I will respond with the link so that you can get on my calendar. We are just going to have a conversation. Now, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this right now. You see this smile? I smile when I'm going to say something that might not maybe will feel good. I ain't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I know you can't believe it. I can't hardly believe it either. But I'm trying to tell you right now, friends, I'm not for everybody. This program is not for everybody. And truth be told, there are only 9 spots left. So everybody can't get in. If you think it might be you, I just want to know this, like, if you think it might be you, isn't it worth a 20-minute conversation? Isn't it worth a 20-minute conversation? In these spaces, it's usually frowned upon. It's usually frowned upon to talk price. But I'm going to tell you the price right now. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to tell you the price. I'm going to tell you the price right now because they say don't tell you the price because then people will talk themselves out of it. Well, if you talk yourself out of it, like real talk, it ain't for you. I mean, I'm not even trying to be funny. Talk yourself out of it. It ain't for you. And that's okay. You know, it's okay that it ain't for you, friend. Okay? $4,500. 12 weeks of small group, 10 women at the most. Look at that baby being a distraction. Go ahead, let that baby get some screen time. She's like, listen, you ain't the only celebrity in this house. Thank you. Let her get some screen time. Listen, 10 women for the first 12 weeks. And then after that, you get 12 months of Courageous Faith membership. So that way you have the support and you have the community. Let's get the foundation first, right? Let's get the foundation in a small group. And then in Courageous Faith membership, we can kill it together. Because now you're equipped to do the work. Now you have the tools, you know what you need to do, and now you can do it. You have the system so that you can get all the things done, right? And so I know it's like, oh, I don't know, that's too much. Okay, well, if it's too much for you, it ain't for you. But I always want to say the price because I want you to think about this. Because it's an investment. do you want it bad enough to put up a prayer? I'm not even saying everybody got it in their account. I'm saying, do you want it enough to not count yourself out? Do you know that this is so much for you that you don't tell me you did everything. Are you willing to fast and pray? God, I know this is what I need. So I'm going to miss breakfast tomorrow and I'm going to pray so you can open my eyes and you can show me how you're about to do this in my life. We always claim to be people of faith, but we don't do the things that faith requires. And sometimes faith requires prayer and fasting. Sometimes faith requires stepping out and not knowing. Dion was like, I don't really know. Sometimes we have to step in the Jordan. Somebody right now, you're waiting for the Lord to show you all the ways. Jordan River spread because they put a toe in. Dion was like, I don't really know where I'm gonna get these other months from, but I got this first month. So if the Lord let me get in with this first month, then I know he's gonna do the rest, right? But I want you to have a conversation with him. This call with me is not a call for me to convince you. I'm not trying to convince you. Y'all know that's not my style. Like, mostly because people you have to convince, they get on your nerves later. And I mean that in the nicest way. I mean that in the nicest possible way. So I'm not trying to convince you. This is just to inform you what you can expect, how it will work, to answer any questions that you might have, because I know that this call was not like super information heavy as far as like how the program works. So you can get on the call and talk to me about that. Whether or not you should do it, please get on the call with the Lord. Get him on the main line before you know what I'm saying, book a call with me. All right. I love you guys. I love y'all. I so thank you guys for being on here with me. Be sure to check your emails. I'm not talking to everybody. Y'all can check y'all emails too, because I'm gonna send an email. But the ladies on the panel, be sure to check your emails tomorrow. I'll be sending you an email. I'll be requesting some information from you. I really want to show you my appreciation for you saying yes. I do not take this lightly. It's a big deal when people say yes, y'all. Like, it's kind of a big deal. So thank you. I love y'all. All right, bye, y'all.
Sorry, baby, be interrupted.
Listen, bye, baby.
Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
This is for
Blessings,
you.
you
It's for
guys.
you. Bye, everybody.
Y'all hear the baby from the
Put the
mouth
baby
of
on.
babes.
Put the baby on.
Yeah, let us get some screen time.
It's
Why
a
you doing her like
bedtime.
this?
She about to get crazy with me.
All right,
She
y'all.
don't know
I love
LK,
y'all.
She know Latrice. Bye.
Bye.